Ladies and gentlemen, emotionally immature men often present a significant challenge in relationships, particularly when it comes to building long-term, meaningful connections. While these men may possess qualities that initially draw us in, charisma, wit, or physical attraction, their emotional immaturity can become an obstacle to true intimacy and emotional growth. The good news is that emotionally intelligent women who are grounded in self-awareness recognize these signs early and understand the importance of walking away for their own emotional well-being. Let's dive into 5 critical signs of emotional immaturity in men and why women who are emotionally intelligent choose to step away from these relationships. The first sign is the inability to handle conflict maturely. Emotionally immature men often resort to defensive behavior, denial, or avoidance when faced with disagreement. Instead of addressing the issue at hand, they may shut down, lash out, or deflect blame. They are not equipped to have difficult conversations or take responsibility for their actions. An emotionally intelligent woman, however, understands that healthy relationships require the ability to work through disagreements, to listen actively, and to seek resolution rather than running from discomfort. When she encounters a man who cannot face conflict head-on, she understands that this will lead to stagnation in the relationship, so she walks away. Another sign is emotional unavailability. An emotionally immature man may have trouble expressing his feelings or may shut down emotionally when the relationship begins to deepen. This lack of vulnerability creates a significant emotional gap between partners. An emotionally intelligent woman recognizes that emotional connection is vital for the growth of any relationship. She knows that being with someone who is emotionally unavailable will only drain her, leaving her to carry the emotional load of the relationship, which is not sustainable. A third sign is inconsistency. Emotionally immature men tend to show erratic behavior, creating confusion about their true feelings and intentions. They may seem deeply invested one moment and distant the next, leaving their partner unsure of where they stand. Emotionally intelligent women have the self-respect to walk away from this chaos because they value consistency, security, and reliability in a partner. They know that a relationship built on emotional inconsistency will never offer the stability they need to thrive. The fourth sign is a lack of accountability. When an emotionally immature man makes mistakes, he is often unwilling to acknowledge them or learn from them. Instead of taking ownership of his actions, he may blame others or external circumstances. An emotionally intelligent woman understands the importance of personal growth and accountability in a relationship. She knows that a partner who refuses to take responsibility will hinder her own emotional growth and create a toxic dynamic. The fifth and final sign is selfishness. Emotionally immature men may struggle to consider the needs and feelings of others, especially when it comes to their romantic partner. Their actions are often self-serving, and they fail to see how their behavior impacts the relationship. An emotionally intelligent woman recognizes that mutual respect and consideration are essential for a healthy relationship. She understands that a partnership is about balance and shared effort, and when she encounters selfishness, she walks away to preserve her own well-being. In conclusion, emotionally immature men may offer short-term excitement or superficial connection, but their lack of emotional depth and growth can never sustain a healthy, fulfilling relationship. Emotionally intelligent women know that they deserve more than inconsistency, avoidance, and selfishness. They choose to walk away from these patterns not out of judgment, but out of self-respect and the desire to cultivate relationships that are built on mutual understanding, growth, and emotional maturity. One of the most noticeable signs of emotional immaturity in a man is his inability to handle conflict in a healthy, mature way. When faced with disagreement or tension, an emotionally immature man will often react defensively, dismissing the other person's feelings or avoiding the conversation altogether. Instead of engaging in open communication, he may shut down, withdraw, or become hostile, focusing on blame rather than resolution. This defensive posture prevents meaningful dialogue and often leads to unresolved issues piling up, creating emotional distance between partners. An emotionally intelligent woman, however, understands that conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but is also an opportunity for growth. She knows that addressing issues with patience and empathy is crucial for maintaining a healthy, evolving connection. When confronted with a partner who avoids or mishandles conflict, she recognizes the pattern and understands that emotional maturity requires a willingness to face discomfort, take responsibility, and work through challenges together. Without this maturity, a relationship cannot thrive in the long term. Instead of trying to force a resolution or enable unhealthy behavior, she chooses to step away to protect her emotional well-being and ensure that future relationships are built on a foundation of healthy communication. A relationship where one partner consistently avoids or mishandles conflict leads to unresolved resentment, emotional exhaustion, and a lack of true intimacy. Emotionally intelligent women know that to create lasting and fulfilling relationships, they need to be with someone who can confront issues openly, share their feelings honestly, and work collaboratively towards solutions. This is why they walk away from emotionally immature men. Not out of malice, but out of a deep understanding that they deserve someone who can handle conflict constructively and grow alongside them. Emotional unavailability is one of the clearest signs of emotional immaturity in a man. An emotionally immature man often struggles to express his feelings or open up about his emotional needs. He may withhold affection, avoid deeper conversations, or fail to engage when his partner seeks to connect on a more intimate level. Instead of allowing vulnerability to flourish in the relationship, he keeps his emotions guarded, which creates an invisible wall between the two partners. This emotional distance prevents true intimacy from developing, leaving one person to feel isolated and unsupported. For an emotionally intelligent woman, emotional availability is essential for building a meaningful connection. She understands that a relationship cannot grow without honest emotional exchange. She values open communication, vulnerability, and the ability to share both joys and struggles with a partner. When she encounters emotional unavailability, she realizes that the connection lacks the depth needed for a lasting, fulfilling relationship. An emotionally unavailable man may also struggle to empathize with his partner's emotional needs. He may dismiss or minimize her feelings, leaving her to feel unheard or unimportant. This creates an imbalance where one person constantly gives while the other holds back. Over time, this imbalance can lead to emotional burnout, leaving the emotionally intelligent partner drained and disconnected. An emotionally intelligent woman recognizes that she cannot be in a relationship where she's the only one giving emotionally. She understands that in a healthy relationship, both partners must be emotionally available, offering support, understanding, and empathy when needed. If she is met with a partner who is emotionally unavailable, she knows that the relationship is unlikely to provide the emotional connection she seeks. She recognizes that walking away from this dynamic is an act of self-respect, as she deserves a partner who can engage emotionally and meet her needs for deep connection and intimacy. Inconsistency is another prominent sign of emotional immaturity in a man. This behavior manifests when he is hot and cold, unsure of his feelings, or unable to maintain a steady, reliable presence in the relationship. One day he may seem deeply interested, affectionate, and attentive, while the next he becomes distant or unresponsive. This erratic behavior often causes confusion and emotional distress in the partner, who is left questioning where they stand. The unpredictability of his actions creates a sense of instability that prevents a deep, trusting connection from forming. For an emotionally intelligent woman, stability and consistency are key components of a healthy relationship. She understands that relationships thrive on mutual respect, trust, and predictability. When a man's behavior is inconsistent, it undermines these essential pillars, leaving her unsure about his true feelings and intentions. She may begin to second-guess herself, wondering if she's misinterpreted his actions or if she's doing something wrong. This uncertainty can erode her emotional well-being as she's constantly trying to navigate through mixed signals. An emotionally immature man may not be aware of the damage caused by his inconsistency. He might not fully recognize the emotional toll it takes on his partner to be constantly unsure of where the relationship stands. He may even justify his behavior as a reflection of his independence or need for space, failing to understand that a steady emotional presence is necessary to build trust and intimacy. Emotionally intelligent women know that they deserve more than this back-and-forth dynamic. They recognize that consistency in a partner's behavior is crucial for fostering a secure, healthy relationship. They value reliability and emotional transparency, which allows for a deeper, more trusting connection to develop. When faced with inconsistency, emotionally intelligent women understand that the relationship is unlikely to provide the emotional security they need. Therefore, they choose to walk away, knowing that a relationship grounded in emotional stability is the only one that can truly allow them to thrive. A significant sign of emotional immaturity in a man is his inability to take accountability for his actions. When he makes a mistake or hurts someone, an emotionally immature man often deflects responsibility, blames others, or makes excuses. Instead of acknowledging his role in the issue and working toward understanding and growth, he may become defensive, project his flaws onto others, or avoid taking ownership of his behavior altogether. This lack of accountability creates a toxic dynamic where no real resolution can occur, and the relationship remains stagnant. For an emotionally intelligent woman, personal growth and self-awareness are vital in a relationship. She understands that both partners must be willing to take responsibility for their actions and learn from mistakes. When a man refuses to acknowledge his part in an issue or dismisses his actions, it sends a clear message that he is not ready to evolve emotionally. She'll evolve emotionally. This creates an environment where communication is blocked and the opportunity for growth is stifled. An emotionally immature man might also struggle to apologize sincerely or make amends for his behavior. Instead of showing genuine remorse, he may offer a half-hearted apology or justify his actions as being out of his control. This lack of genuine accountability leaves the partner feeling unheard, unappreciated, and unimportant. The relationship, rather than serving as a space for mutual understanding, becomes a place of emotional imbalance and frustration. An emotionally intelligent woman knows that she deserves a partner who is willing to take responsibility for his actions, even when it's uncomfortable. She values honesty, transparency, and the ability to own up to mistakes because it fosters trust and emotional intimacy. When she encounters a man who consistently avoids accountability, she understands that this behavior will likely prevent both individuals from growing together and creating a healthy, thriving relationship. Therefore, she walks away, knowing that she cannot invest her energy in someone unwilling to take responsibility for their actions. Selfishness is another clear sign of emotional immaturity in a man. When a man is emotionally immature, he tends to focus primarily on his own needs, desires, and comforts, often disregarding the emotional needs of his partner. This selfishness can manifest in various ways, such as consistently prioritizing his interests, not making an effort to understand or empathize with his partner's feelings, or failing to consider how his actions affect those around him. This type of behavior creates an imbalance in the relationship, where one partner is giving while the other takes without reciprocating the same level of care, effort, or consideration. Over time, this emotional imbalance leaves the partner feeling neglected, unimportant, and unappreciated. For an emotionally intelligent woman, mutual respect and balance are key elements of any healthy relationship. She knows that a relationship requires both partners to contribute equally in emotional energy, empathy, and support. When she encounters a man who is selfish, she realizes that she is unable to build a deep, meaningful connection with him because he lacks the emotional awareness and maturity to give as much as he takes. In a healthy relationship, both people should be willing to listen, share, and put effort into making each other feel valued and cared for. When one partner is unable or unwilling to give emotionally, the relationship becomes one-sided, leading to frustration and emotional exhaustion for the partner who is constantly giving. An emotionally intelligent woman understands that she deserves a partner who values her time, feelings, and contributions. She knows that a relationship built on selfishness will drain her emotional resources, and no matter how much effort she puts into trying to make it work, it will never lead to a balanced, fulfilling relationship. When faced with selfish behavior, she recognizes that walking away is necessary for her emotional health. She understands that she cannot continue to invest in someone who cannot see beyond his own needs, and she deserves a partner who is equally committed to creating a balanced, supportive, and loving connection. Emotional immaturity in a man can often be seen through his inability to engage in meaningful, vulnerable conversations. Instead of allowing for openness and honest communication, an emotionally immature man will frequently avoid deep, intimate discussions or shy away from sharing his feelings. This behavior can manifest in a reluctance to talk about emotions, fears, or aspirations, or he may deflect serious conversations by changing the subject or making jokes. This avoidance can create emotional distance in a relationship, as it prevents the connection from growing beyond surface-level interactions. Over time, his reluctance to open up leads to frustration for his partner, who may feel disconnected and emotionally isolated. For an emotionally intelligent woman, vulnerability is essential for creating intimacy and trust within a relationship. She understands that a true emotional connection can only develop when both partners are willing to be vulnerable, share their inner thoughts, and discuss both the joys and struggles of life. When she encounters a partner who consistently avoids vulnerability, she recognizes that this dynamic will prevent the relationship from deepening and evolving. Without the ability to engage in meaningful conversations, the relationship becomes stagnant, and the emotional intimacy that is necessary for a strong connection is never established. Emotionally intelligent women also recognize that their emotional needs cannot be met in a relationship where open communication is lacking. They understand that avoiding serious discussions or failing to express emotions creates a barrier that can't be overcome by simply ignoring it. It takes effort, time, and emotional availability to nurture a relationship that is based on mutual trust and understanding. When a man refuses to participate in these deeper conversations, emotionally intelligent women know that the relationship is unlikely to provide the fulfillment and emotional security they need. Therefore, they choose to walk away, recognizing that they deserve a partner who can engage in authentic, meaningful communication and share their emotional journey together. One of the most telling signs of emotional immaturity in a man is his tendency to remain stagnant and avoid personal growth. An emotionally immature man often resists change, whether it's personal development, learning from mistakes, or adapting to the evolving needs of the relationship. He may have an unwillingness to reflect on his behaviors, attitudes, or emotional responses, and instead, he remains locked in old patterns. This resistance to change not only prevents him from evolving as a person, but also creates tension in the relationship, where one partner continues to grow while the other stays stuck. His inability to work on himself or develop emotionally leads to a lack of depth in the connection, as he remains trapped in outdated beliefs or behaviors that no longer serve him or the relationship. For an emotionally intelligent woman, personal growth is essential not just individually but within the context of a relationship. She recognizes that growth is a crucial part of life, and without it, the relationship risks becoming one-dimensional and stagnant. She understands that both partners need to evolve together, supporting one another in their journeys of self-improvement. When she encounters a man who resists personal growth, she knows that it's not just the individual who suffers, but the relationship as a whole. Emotional immaturity in this sense means that he is unable or unwilling to look inward, challenge himself, and improve his emotional intelligence, which ultimately limits the potential for a fulfilling relationship. An emotionally intelligent woman also understands the importance of self-reflection and accountability in relationships. She knows that growth requires both introspection and action. When faced with a partner who remains emotionally stagnant, she realizes that there is little hope for a dynamic, evolving relationship. She recognizes that she cannot carry the weight of a partnership that lacks emotional development. Therefore, she chooses to walk away from this type of relationship, knowing that she deserves a partner who is committed to personal growth and emotional evolution, one who is willing to face their own shortcomings and work towards becoming a better version of themselves. Another sign of emotional immaturity in a man is his inability to manage or regulate his emotions effectively. This is often seen in moments of stress or frustration when he is prone to outbursts, anger, or emotional shutdowns. Instead of processing his feelings in a healthy way, he may react impulsively, lashing out at others or withdrawing entirely. These emotional responses can seem disproportionate to the situation, leaving his partner feeling confused or overwhelmed. This inability to manage his emotions makes it difficult to maintain a stable, trusting relationship as it creates an unpredictable environment where the emotional climate is constantly shifting. No. His partner may find herself walking on eggshells, unsure of when the next emotional outburst or retreat will occur, which strains the bond and causes emotional exhaustion. For an emotionally intelligent woman, the ability to regulate emotions is crucial for building a lasting and healthy connection. She understands that relationships require emotional balance, and both partners must be able to manage their emotional responses in a way that fosters understanding and peace. When she encounters a partner who cannot handle his emotions in a constructive way, she knows that the relationship is at risk. Emotional maturity is required to navigate the highs and lows of life together, to support each other during stressful moments, and to engage in healthy conflict resolution. Without this emotional regulation, any disagreement or difficult situation can quickly escalate into something more damaging. Emotionally intelligent women value emotional stability in a relationship. They understand that a partner who is constantly overwhelmed by their own emotions will struggle to offer the kind of emotional support and reassurance that is necessary for the health of the relationship. When faced with a partner who cannot manage his emotions, an emotionally intelligent woman recognizes that the relationship will always be weighed down by instability and unpredictability. Therefore, she chooses to walk away, knowing that emotional maturity and the ability to regulate feelings are fundamental to building a secure, supportive, and harmonious connection. A common sign of emotional immaturity in a man is his tendency to avoid taking responsibility for the relationship's problems. When things go wrong or issues arise, he may point fingers at external factors or even at his partner, deflecting blame rather than taking an honest look at his own actions or contributions to the situation. This lack of accountability can be incredibly damaging to the relationship, as it creates a dynamic where one person is constantly left feeling like they are shouldering the emotional burden alone. Over time, this behavior erodes trust and fosters resentment, as the partner, who is emotionally intelligent and responsible, begins to feel unsupported and unfairly blamed for problems that are not entirely their fault. An emotionally intelligent woman understands that a healthy relationship is built on mutual accountability. She knows that in any partnership, both individuals contribute to both the good and the bad. Taking responsibility for one's actions, acknowledging mistakes, and making an effort to improve are all essential for the relationship's growth. She is willing to reflect on her own behaviors and own her mistakes, but she also expects the same from her partner. When she encounters a man who is unable or unwilling to take responsibility for the relationship's challenges, she sees it as a sign of emotional immaturity. She knows that without accountability, the relationship cannot evolve and neither person can grow. An emotionally intelligent woman understands the importance of creating a balance where both partners are responsible for the health of the relationship. She knows that this dynamic is necessary for fostering trust, respect, and mutual support. When faced with a partner who refuses to take responsibility, she realizes that the relationship is not built on a foundation of equality. Instead of continuing in a relationship where she is left carrying the emotional weight, she chooses to walk away, knowing that she deserves a partner who is willing to engage fully, take responsibility for their actions, and work together to resolve challenges in a healthy, constructive way. A clear sign of emotional immaturity in a man is his tendency to avoid commitment or make excuses when it comes to deepening the relationship. He might express interest in the idea of a relationship, but when it comes time to make concrete plans or take meaningful steps forward, he becomes hesitant or resistant. This can be seen in his inability to define the relationship, reluctance to make future plans, or unwillingness to engage in conversations about long-term goals. He might often say things like, "I'm not ready for that," or "I need more time," yet there is no clear reasoning behind it, other than his fear of fully investing. This fear of commitment often stems from unresolved emotional issues or a lack of self-awareness, and it leaves his partner in a state of uncertainty, unsure of where they stand. For an emotionally intelligent woman, clarity and commitment are essential for emotional security. She values the stability that comes with knowing that both partners are equally invested in the relationship and willing to move forward together. She understands that true intimacy and connection require both individuals to be fully present and committed to nurturing the relationship. When faced with a partner who avoids commitment, she recognizes that this behavior is indicative of emotional immaturity and a lack of readiness for a serious, fulfilling relationship. She knows that she deserves someone who is willing to engage fully, not just in words but in action, and who is ready to build a future together. An emotionally intelligent woman also understands that relationships require mutual effort, and she cannot invest all her energy into a partnership that remains stagnant. She values personal growth and emotional connection, and when she encounters a man who is unwilling to commit, she sees that as a sign of emotional unavailability. Rather than settling for uncertainty, she chooses to walk away from a relationship that doesn't align with her own emotional needs and goals, knowing that she deserves a partner who is equally ready to invest in building a lasting, meaningful connection.